Blessings. So, the mythological story behind this particular eclipse is pretty important and pretty deep. The planets that are conjuncting this eclipse makes it even more symbolic. Welcome back to 5D Mystery School. Let's get into it. The most common meaning for Lucifer in English is as a name for the devil in Christian theology. It appeared in the King James Version of the Bible in Isaiah, and before that in Vulgate, not as the name of the devil, but as the Latin word Lucifer, uncapitalized, meaning the morning star, the planet Venus, or as an adjective, light bringing. It is a translation of the Hebrew word Halil, meaning shining one. So Lucifer also corresponds to the Greek names Phosphorus, Lightbringer, and Asphorus, Dawnbringer. The word Lucifer appears in the second epistle of Peter in the Latin Vulgate to refer to Jesus. Side note, I made a video a couple of years ago where I told you that Jesus and Lucifer are the same being. And by the end of this video, hopefully you will understand more of what that means. And as mentioned before, this solar eclipse will be in conjunction with Venus or Lucifer. And to the side, there will appear a devil's comet. Lucifer was said to be the fabled son of Aurora, Encephalus, and the father of Psyche. He was often presented in poetry as heralding the dawn. So Aurora is the Latin word for dawn. So the siblings of Aurora would be the sun and the moon. The children of Aurora would be the wind. And here you can see the equivalents, like the Greek equivalent is Eos. In mythology, Aurora renews herself every morning and flies across the sky, announcing the arrival of the sun. She has two siblings, a brother, Sol, the sun, and a sister, Luna, the moon. She is the mother of the Anemoi, the winds, who were the offspring of Astraeus, the father of the stars. Encephalus is the son of Hermes, and Ushas is the Vedic goddess of dawn in Hinduism. She has the same story as Aurora. And in Lithuanian mythology, Asherin is a female deity of the morning star, Venus. It's important to give you several different references so that you can see the story is told throughout several different cultures. And a 2nd century Roman mythographer said this: the fourth star is that of Venus, Luciferus by name. Aurora, watchful in the reddening dawn, through wide her crimson doors and rose-filled halls, the steadily took flight, and marshaled order set by Lucifer, who left his station last. This is important. The motive of a heavenly being striving for the high seat of heaven, only to be cast down to the underworld, has its origins in the motions of the planet Venus, known as the morning star. And here you can see the pentagonal conjunction cycle of Venus. The Sumerian goddess Inanna is associated with the planet Venus, and Inanna's actions in several of her myths, including Inanna and Shukalatuda and Inanna's descent into the underworld, appear to parallel the motion of Venus as it progresses through its synodic cycle. A similar theme is present in the Babylonian myth of Etana, the brilliancy of the morning star, which eclipses all other stars, but is not seen during the night, may easily have given rise to a myth such as was told of Ethana and Zu. He was led by his pride to strive for the highest seat among the star gods on the northern mountain of the gods, but was hurled down by the supreme ruler of the Babylonian Olympus. The Greek myth of Phaethon, a personification of the planet Jupiter, follows a similar pattern. Phaethon's tale was commonly used to explain why uninhabitable lands on both sides of extremity, such as hot deserts and frozen wastelands, exist, and why certain peoples have darker complexions, while his sister's amber tears accounted for the river's rich deposits of amber. Here's a photo of Venus, the morning star. Here's a cathedral, which is named Saint Martin Morning Star. Eos is the goddess and personification of the dawn, who rose each morning from her home at the edge of the river Oceanus to deliver light and disperse the night. In Greek tradition and poetry, she is characterized as a goddess with a great sexual appetite, who took numerous lovers for her own satisfaction and bore them several children, like the wind. Now, what does this have to do with Easter? The Sumerians associated the planet with the goddess Inanna, who was known as Ishtar by the later Akkadians and Babylonians. She had a dual role as a goddess of both love and war, thereby representing a deity that presided over the birth and death. Which is why this solar eclipse in conjunction with Venus could signify the start to another war. So Venus has a direct connection to Ishtar, Easter. In the old Babylonian period, the planet Venus was known as Nintiana. Nintiana translates to divine lady, illumination of heaven, which refers to Venus as the brightest visible star. Earlier spellings of the name were written with cuneiform sign Si4, meaning to be red, which this could signify the sacrificial ritual of the red heifer. Worth mentioning, Chiron will be in the dead smack middle of this solar eclipse. Chiron's uniquely peaceful character, kindness, and intelligence are attributed to Apollo and Artemis. NASA's first mission was Apollo. They're trying to return to the moon with a ship named Artemis. Also connected, billions of cicadas will emerge in the US this year in a rare double brood event. Cicadas are used as symbolism for Eos. Now, to take this back to the real root, Venus is Hathor. Here's Hathor. As a sky deity, she was the mother or consort of the sky god Horus and the sun god Ra. Hathor was often depicted as a cow, or another way of saying cow is a young female heifer, red heifer. And on April the 8th, you can see Venus will be conjunct the sun and moon, and Jupiter won't be too far away. And not too far away, you have Saturn and Mars. Saturn is important because Saturn is the father of Chiron, again, which is going to be in the middle of the eclipse. And the reason why you always see Lucifer associated with the color red is the same reason why you see Venus associated with the color red, which is why Hathor has the red disk on her head. Isaiah 14:12. How you have fallen from heaven, O star of the morning, son of the dawn. You have been cut down to the earth, you who have weakened the nations. I, Jesus, have sent my angel to testify to you these things for the churches. I am the root and the descendant of David, the bright morning star. And the eclipse sacrificial rituals are not something that's new, right? Mayan nobility performed bloodletting sacrifices to strengthen a dying sun god during solar eclipses. Now, as mentioned in another video, this solar eclipse is special again because you're going to have two rebels that are going to be crucified with the sun. So for sake of time, I'll just make one more point here. So in the other video about the eclipse, I mentioned how Jesus was speaking about how the bulls encompass him and the sign that comes after Aries, which is the start of the new year and the sign for new beginnings, which this solar eclipse is signifying new beginnings. The sign after Aries is Taurus, which is ruled by Venus, which is why you often see Lucifer with horns. And this is why you also see Moses with horns. What did Moses do when he caught them worshiping that golden calf? When Moses came up, Taurus ended. Oh, but it gets so much deeper. You know how you always see ancient depictions of the seven stars? He who made the Pleiades and Orion and turns deep darkness into the morning and darkens the day into night, who calls for the waters of the sea and pours them out on the surface of the earth, and Lord is his name. The seven stars are the angels of the seven churches. Pleiades is in the constellation Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. Jesus, or the Son, said, "Just as I have received authority from my Father, I will also give him the morning star." Let me leave you with this. Orion is bordered by Taurus. The ancients believed that when your soul left your body, you went through a portal in Orion. Betelgeuse, or Betelgeuse, is a red supergiant star in the constellation of Orion. So when your soul leaves your body, you can say it returns home. In the new Beetlejuice trailer, they play the song, Daylight Coming, I Wanna Go Home. It's not a coincidence.